Trying to call our next guest, and I guess he says that his phone went to a busy signal because they thought it was a spam call. What the hell? That is weird. It's been a weird day here. And so without further ado, let us say hello to @iAmTheBay, a.k.a. Mr. Brian Vega, who is joining us right now from Anaheim, of course, site of UFC 241. What's going on with your phone there, Brian? What do you block phone calls? You're so busy that people can't call you?
No, actually, my service provider blocks the scam likely calls.
Jeez.
So I think that's what was going on.
Are you saying that ESPN are scammers?
It probably didn't recognize the number.
Yeah.
So it said it was a scam likely call, and it automatically just rejects those calls on my phone.
Wow, that is great protection you have. But I'm happy that we have you, my man. You do great work. I was just building you up before you came on. Your Instagram page and the access and the quality of the work that you have is just amazing. I thought it would be fun to get your perspective on DC and everything going on at AKA. So first, let me ask you, you work as Daniel Cormier's personal photographer. When did you start working with him?
Correct. I started a little bit before UFC 200, right when he was in camp. For UFC 200, I came aboard.
And how did that come about?
It's actually a weird, long story. So DC's barber and I went to high school together, and I ran into him one time at the barber shop, and he introduced me to Daniel. He said, "Hey, this is my buddy Brian. He's a great photographer. Maybe you guys should link up and work together." So Daniel was getting his haircut by my buddy. His name is Primo. And he kind of did one of those, yeah, kind of brushed me off at first. Long story short, I got his phone number and I was contacting him for a little bit, like, hey, let's do some work. Do you mind if I go to the gym? And he just kind of ignored me for a minute. And then I ran into him at a local MMA show in in Concord. And I introduced myself one more time, just in case he had forgotten who I was. And I asked him if I could take a photo of him. He said, yeah, no problem. And then I asked him actually if he could step outside because, the sun was setting down. Concord area is beautiful. There's a little waterfront, so the sun was coming down. It was perfect. At first, he looked at me a little weird, just this guy he'd met 2 times. He wanted me to step out with him to take a photo. He did it. I showed him the back of the camera. He loved the photo. And from there on, he's like, hey, do you mind if I take one with my wife? Yeah, no problem. So his wife came in. Fiance at the time. She came into the photo, showed her. They loved it. And from there, it just clicked, and we started working together.
Wow. And was that your first entrance into the world of MMA, or had you been working with other fighters?
Professional fighters, yes. Actually, he was my first professional fighter. Beforehand, I was doing little MMA shows and, amateur fighters, but nothing on that level.
What is it like working with DC? Obviously, I know Daniel quite well, but I know him from a different kind of perspective. I'm not there every day. I'm not at his house. I'm not at the gym. I don't see the ups and downs of training camp. What is it like working with him?
He is the greatest. I mean, this guy just gives me free range to everything. There's nothing that's off limits. Anything that I need, he takes care of, and he treats me like, family. Anybody that's in DC's camp, he treats like family, and that's, something that not everybody gets to see. He takes care of my kids as his. My kids know his kids. I know his wife personally. She knows my wife. So you're literally, this is a family, right? I know it's a business arrangement at the same time, but it's a family. And that's what I want people to know firsthand, that DC takes care of his people.
And what's interesting about DC, every fighter is a little bit different, right? But in DC's case, I get the sense that he loves being around a large group of people. He likes when the whole team is together. He likes joking. He likes, ragging on each other and just everyone has to go together, right? He does media, everyone's going with him. Is that the case? Because it always seems like you guys are rolling 10 deep every time. Yes,
definitely. We're always all together. And if you don't have thick skin, you're not going to make it. I'm just giving you a heads up right now, especially with characters like Rosendo,
right.
Camacho, and everyone that's in camp. You have to have thick skin to be aboard. If not, you're gonna cry yourself out of camp.
Right. And for those that don't recall, Rosendo Sanchez is DC's boxing coach, the one who pushed Brock Lesnar when Lesnar got into the cage last summer for that big showdown with DC that never came to fruition. So this for this particular camp, how often are you seeing DC? Are you there every day at AKA?
Every day. So for this camp, I was lucky enough to be there every day. I missed maybe 2 or 3 days, but besides that, we were always together. and that's everybody. Rosendo, he makes a drive from Santa Rosa. He's out there, his commute is 2.5 hours each way. He makes the commitment himself. You got Rudy Cruz. He's coming from Fresno. And it's not the money aspect that we do it for. It's because we know the formula, we know what works. And these guys, everyone just loves to be around one another. And that's why we do it, honestly.
And so, like this particular week, you came out, I think, on Sunday. Did you fly out with him?
No, we actually, myself and Duran Wynn, we drove. A couple of the guys drove themselves too. It's not too far from where we're at. So, last time there was a couple issues with cars, so we just decided to drive ourselves so we can have our own transport out here. Okay,
so like now that you're fully there, we're in the midst of fight week. He doesn't necessarily have to cut weight, but like what is your day-to-day like with Daniel? What are your obligations? What are your duties?
Anything that he needs, we're here for him. But for example, Monday, my day started like at 5:30 in the morning. I got up, got my stuff together, met Daniel downstairs in his room at 6 a.m. We started doing media conference calls, took photos of that. And then from there, it was just media all day. We drove all around LA. We went over to the TMZ set. We went to Mario Lopez. We went to the ESPN office. And basically, I just document everything. And everything is pretty much up to like the minute. So the minute something's photographed, I immediately send it to him. If he likes it, he'll post it. If not, he won't. And that's the way I just keep everyone updated photos. As you know, in today's world, everything's social media related. So if you're not posting on social media and you're not getting that little buzz out, you kind of fall off. But in DC's case, he's a double champ. Everyone just wants more access or more in-depth look into what he's doing. And, it has to be up to the second.
And do you have to clear everything with him?
See, that's the thing about DC. No, I don't.
Wow.
He gives me free range to do whatever I want as far as the photography goes. So I kind of know already his style and what he's going to like and what he's not going to like. So I just send him the things I know he's going to like, as a quick push to social media. And then at the end of the night, I send them everything we shot. Everything's edited, ready to go. So if he wanted to post something in the morning, he's good to go.
Okay. And so you're giving him a collection, and then he just picks whatever he wants. But as far as like what you post on your page, you're obviously not going to pick something that he doesn't want. Like maybe you're picking from the stuff that he chooses from.
No, so I can post whatever I want.
Wow.
Right. Yeah, he doesn't tell me, hey, don't post that, or hey, don't do this.
Damn.
So he gives me free range on my page to post whatever I want. And then I just, for example, let's say we were on your show and I'm taking photos. The minute we leave your set, right, he has photos ready to post. And that's from me just editing on the fly. And then at the end of the night, I'll send him the whole take, edited, just in case he likes something else. Or, the thing what we're trying to do for him, too, is archive everything.
Right.
He wants to keep everything for memories, and that's honestly why I'm here for him. And like you told me the other day, he had some issues with some wedding photos that he had. And then he told me that the link was down. He was like, oh, man, what can I do? And I told him, hey, the person who probably took your photos didn't pay their Dropbox subscription, and, they got dropped, erased. He goes, please, whatever you do not, stop putting your Dropbox. He goes, I'll give you money. I'll take care of it. And I told him, you know what? I have backups on top of backups. So something does happen, there's always a copy of it. And
is this your full-time job?
No, believe it or not, it's not.
Okay. How do you do that?
We live in the Bay Area, so everything, you know how that is. It's expensive. It's busy. So you have to have multiple sources of income to, provide for family.
So are you like on vacation now, technically, even though you're still working?
Something like that.
Okay. You don't want to talk about the other job, clearly.
Yeah, there's restrictions behind it.
I understand. Fair enough. So you're DC's personal photographer. You're with him wherever he goes. Are you anyone else's personal photographer at AKA?
So I started doing Luis Pena. I started doing Duran Wynn, Kyle Crutchmer. Those are the main guys I have right now. That they, gave me the full go ahead to start doing their fight camp work. Kyle Kretschmer's in Bellator. Of course, you got Deron Wynn, who's in the UFC now. Luis Peña's in the UFC. And all the guys that are up and coming, I mean, I try to help them out with photos. So while they're training at AK, I don't charge them. You know, I do it all because I want to be there with the guys and I want to see them expire. And I don't charge them, you know, $1. Once they start making money, hey, we'll work something out where I just tell them, hey, cover my fees and, you know, some expenses, and we're good.
That is incredible.
And then, later on down the line, when they start making, you know, a couple bucks and, you know, if they can help me out, hey, more power too.
When did you start doing photography?
You know what? I started in middle school. I was lucky to have a program in the middle school I attended, which was kind of like a little elective. But, you know, it's kind of like black and white pinhole type cameras. And then I did high school photography as well, but once again, it was black and white. I didn't really get into digital until about 2008. And at that point, digital was very, very expensive. And I didn't have the means to purchase a camera. So I was kind of borrowing one for a little bit.
And do you feel like at some point this can turn into a full-time job, or do you think it's just hard, especially with fighters? They don't make a lot of money. The up-and-comers certainly don't make a lot of money. Even some of the top stars don't make a lot of money. Is that the goal at some point, that you could do this full-time and not have to do anything else?
I wish it would need to be very lucrative. The only reason I'm still at my other job right now is because of the benefits. You know, I have a family. That's what comes first, the benefits. So if I were to find something where I can, you know, take care of the benefits myself, yeah, no problem. I'll take, you know, full-time.
Okay. Do you have a favorite Daniel Cormier story, a memory, a moment, something that you got? I mean, he's had so many great moments since you just started working with him. Is there anything that sticks out? I know I'm putting you on the spot
here. Interactions. It's weird, man. You know, I started a YouTube page, and I kind of document, you know, DC's behind-the-scenes stuff. DC and Khabib and some of the guys at AK. So there's just so much stuff. I mean, just, you know, it's all funny stuff, but the majority of, like, the personal interactions I have with him, everything's just memorable. He's such a good guy. I mean, he takes care of not only myself, but, you know, others around him. So I think the best one, would have to be after he beat Stipe. I was in the back, and it was myself, Kane, and Rudy. We have to stay in the back. Kane doesn't, but myself and Rudy do. And he just comes, you know, with his belt, gives us this big hug, and, you know, kind of like we finally did it. You know, I mean, what else comes after, you know, beating Stipe Miocic to become the heavyweight champion? There's nothing else. That's the top of the top. So I think that would have to be my best one.
Do you think this is his last fight?
We talk about it. You know, everyone in camp talks about it. He says it is, but the competitor in him, I don't know. I really don't. You know, he said if the UFC gives him $10 million, that he'll stay aboard.
Sure.
Now, will the UFC dish out the $10 million? No clue. But I mean, there is one more fight to make, I think. Whether the UFC wants to pay for it or not, you know, that's the ball's in their court and in DC's court.
My belief is that's the only fight. Like, there literally is just one fight. He would not entertain anything else but that Jones fight. Do you get the same impression?
Right, I get the same impression. There's nobody, I think. In my opinion, there's nobody else.
Yeah.
I know everybody was talking about Francis Ngannou. He's a good guy. You know, I have nothing against this guy. You know, I've met him several times. He's very cordial. His team's cordial, but I mean, I don't think that's the right direction.
No, there's just one, like, I mean, at that point you can stick around and fight everyone. There's always going to be a contender.
Exactly.
There's always going to be the next guy.
Exactly.
But this Jones thing is a different kind of thing. It's a different kind of beast. By the way, what's it like you see I see your stuff and I see the YouTube page is just youtube.com/iAmTheBay, right?
youtube.com/c/iAmTheBay. For some reason, the creator, when you're a creator, they make you put a C in front of it. But yeah. Okay. Or you can just Google, YouTube iAmTheBay, and they all come up. Right. And the majority of those videos are just DC and Khabib just messing around, fooling around full time, man.
That footage is amazing, but you see DC in there, you see Khabib. You see Kane in there. You see Deron Whitley. You see so many guys, and it's like, wow, I can't imagine. I've been to the new AK, or the newish. It's not that new anymore. And it's big, but like that area isn't that big. You see all those guys together. That must be amazing, right? To just be there every day, to see the interaction, see the sparring, see the ribbing. I'd imagine there are times, like, you can't talk about everything, but I imagine there are times where you're like, man, this is a pretty damn cool job that I got here.
Definitely. And I just want to clear something up. Everyone always comments that, the majority of my videos are them bickering, messing around, and not training. These guys train so hard, so much, that I'm only capturing moments, little segments, seconds of their downtime, right, in these videos. And people are always commenting, oh, they're, horsing around, not messing around. How do these guys expect to be champions if they're just messing around? But listen, DC does, workouts 3 times a day, sometimes at 7 a.m. for a run. He goes to AK at noon, and then he either does a bike session in the afternoon or is hitting mitts with one of the coaches. This guy is nonstop. Same goes for Khabib. Guy is nonstop. I mean, that's just the AK work ethic. These guys are nonstop, always going.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing that you have. It's there are not that many personal photographers out there in this game. There are a few here and there, but not truly not every fighter can afford it. So you have great access to one of the all-time great figures in the history of the sport. And I got to do that E60 piece on him, which was a great honor. But just to see how much he cared about that wrestling team, I wouldn't have experienced that if I wasn't there. We were there in late January. And to see how much he cared about those kids and the Gilroy High School wrestling team, I thought he did it for fun. He doesn't get paid. It's something to do. He cares about that like his own career. Like, he was stressing out over one kid making weight and whatnot. I'm sure you get to see that as well. That was my biggest takeaway of the whole experience, how much he cares about those kids. Like, this isn't a side gig for him. He treats it like a full-time job, right?
Yes. I mean, he's not doing it for the money. The money he gives to the coaches, he's not even on salary. He doesn't collect a salary, but he invests his time full time to Gilroy High School. And he brought me aboard, so I do some of the stuff for them as well. Just document some of the kids wrestling and taking photos for them. And we just give them to their family for free. There's no charge. But my thing is, he knows all the kids' families, first, last name, everyone he knows by name, and he is so dedicated to these kids. At first, it was a little rough patch at first for myself because I couldn't go out there as much. But as I started going out there and getting to know the kids and their family, you have something when these kids come up to me, hey, DC, I really appreciate what you do. You made my wrestling 100% better. And these kids telling DC, I love you and thank you. Just the honor and respect they have for him, that does it. That solidifies why he's doing it. And just a quick story. He had a tournament in Gilroy where a bunch of other schools, were invited to come down. Okay. There was this one kid, I'm not sure from what school he was. I totally forgot, but he was up on that and he couldn't wrestle. Right. So DC said, hey, what's going on? What's wrong with this kid? Why can't he wrestle? It turns out that this kid was the only one that came and he drove and he paid for his own ticket. So it was just him. He came, his coaches ditched him, and he had no one to train with. And he was up on the mat next, and he had no one in his corner, so he couldn't wrestle. DC found out and told the kid, hey, you know what? I know you're not from our school, but you're more than welcome to come with us. We have several coaches here. Go ahead and pick a coach. We'll corner you for the rest of your stay here. If you need any training partners, if you need anything, just let us know. Reach out to us, and we'll take care of it for you. No questions asked. The kid was so thankful, and that's the type of character that DC is, that he'll help everybody out.
That's amazing. I love that, and I know that he's fighting with a heavy heart because of what happened recently in Gilroy. I hope that knowing that was affected by that.
Actually, a good friend of mine, that was the little boy who passed away. That was her nephew. So
oh my gosh,
it close.
I'm very sorry.
It hit home to everybody. And, we were there the day before. We were, at DC's house, just finished training. And we were thinking about going to the Garlic Festival, my family and myself, the following day. We had a family come in, and we were supposed to go. And my family, for some reason wanted to stay home and watch a movie. So they stayed and watched a movie. Me and my son were like, hey, let's do something. So we were going to go, and then in the car last minute, we're like, you know what? Let's just go to Great America. So we went over to Great America, which is a little theme park by where we live, got on a couple of rides. And then we started, getting these the alerts about the shooting. For some reason, we're like, these gang members or someone, shooting each other at the festival. We didn't think anything of it. And then when we got home, we found out, that it was a mass shooter and, a couple lives were taken. So yeah, it's tragic. Very, very tragic. Fortunate that happened, so close to home.
Yeah. And I see the post on your Instagram about Steven Romero. May he rest in peace. It's a horrible thing. And I know, DC and other fighters from the era, Kane, dedicated his pro wrestling debut to what happened to the community. They're very proud of Gilroy. I got to experience Gilroy. It's a beautiful town. And, I like that they're representing the town so well as they have these big moments in the spotlight. Again, the Instagram page is iAmTheBay. It's a great follow. You're doing great work, my man. I saw, some.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, some of the photos that you've been posting. Daniel looks in great shape. I hope he keeps the beard for the fight. It sounds like he won't, but I like the beard on him. I think it makes him look cool, the little gray hair. But it's great insight into who he is on Fight Week.
Thank you.
You're doing really great stuff. Thank you for doing this. Keep up the great work. Keep putting great stuff out there. Beautifully shot stuff. It's just amazing. And by the way, congratulations on, I saw you drop 50 pounds. So apparently being at the gym is helping you out as well. So congrats on that.
Yeah, you know what? Check this out. With the camp like this, how can you not? AKA too, they open their doors to everybody. You don't have to be professional to go to AKA. You can be just, regular average Joe wanting to get a little work in. And in that sense, I got to thank Javier Mendez for just letting me train. No questions asked, just show up and do what you have to do. And everyone should check it out. Even if it's not AKA, just check out a gym, to drop some pounds. So myself and Carlos, one of the other photographers there, Fruit Juice, he dropped, I think he's like 55 pounds down now. Now I'm at 50. So yeah, it's a good thing.
Well done. Looking forward to seeing you out there, Brian. Thanks for doing this and all the best to you.
Yes, Ariel. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, there he is, Brian Vega at iAmTheBay on Instagram. You can see his stuff on YouTube as well. Great insight into not only Daniel Cormier, but as he mentioned, guys like Violent Bob Ross, Luis Pena, Deron Winn, Khabib Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev. There are some great photographers in this game. Obviously, Esther Lin does a phenomenal job. Back in the day, our good friend James Law. There's Ryan Loco for the PFL. But Brian does a great thing just, capturing all things DC and AKA. So I thought that would be fun perspective, and it was. And so I enjoyed that very much. UFC 241, my friends. It's actually happening. I'm looking forward to it. I'm off to Anaheim tomorrow. What a lineup. Hannah Cyphers, Jody Escobel, Brandon Davis looked very good in his 135-pound debut in April against Kyung Ho Kang. Shayna Dobson against Sabina Mazo, who's looking to rebound. How about the undefeated Manny Bermudez against Casey Kenny? Christos Giagos against Strakhar Klose. Rafael Sunsao against Corey Sandhagen. Love that fight. Devontae Smith against Kama Worthy. That's the prelims. And then it's Derek Brunson against Ian Heinisch. Mowgli Benitez against Sadiq Youssef. Paulo Costa against Yoel Romero. Nate Diaz against Anthony Pettis. And of course the big one, Daniel Cormier against Stipe Miocic for the heavyweight title. Will this be DC's last fight? We shall find out. Main card on ESPN Plus. Prelims on ESPN beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern. Early prelims on ESPN Plus. And by the way, I'm back on the air on terrestrial radio Saturday night, 8 to 10 this time. We'll watch the prelims together, take your calls. It's going to be great. For now, though, we are out of time. Thank you very much, Brian Vega. Thank you very much, Mark Ramundi. Thank you very much, Brett Okamoto. Great stuff from all of them. Enjoy the fights this weekend. I'll see you all weekend long from Anaheim. But for now, we're out of time. Thank you for listening, rating, subscribing, downloading, all those things and more. Appreciate you as always. We're out of here.
An interesting creature inhabits the flat, arid plains of many an automobile dashboard. The bobblehead. It's most agreeable and will nod along to anything, despite having no brain function. But when the bobblehead hears how Geico not only saves people money, but also gives them access to licensed agents 24/7 online and over the phone, he'll nod even more vigorously because he knows you should switch. Because yes, switching to Geico is a no-brainer. Easy, bobblehead, easy. You're going to get whiplash.